People really don't know what their expenses will be because they don't know how long that they're going to live.
Americans are worried they won't have enough saved for retirement now more than ever.
Retirement is going to cost, for many folks, over $1 million.
Is no sure thing in investing, but a lot of people think that annuities may come close to that.
It's going to more safe things that they know. If they know they're going to need that money to supplement their retirement, well, then you can't play that risk.
This is the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr., founder and partner of Heischman Financial Services, serving the Columbus and surrounding areas. Jon specializes in educating pre-retirees and retirees about safe money strategies and ideas. Now, it's the Safe Money and Retirement Show. Here's Jon Heischman Sr.
You've tuned in to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. As your host, Jon Heischman, I want to thank you and hope you enjoy the show. For questions or information about the show, plus, if you'd like a copy of the book I sponsor, Top 10 IRA Mistakes, all you have to do is call 888-426-0177. Again, 888-426-0177. In retirement planning, when I talk about running out of money in retirement, everyone normally associates that with not having enough money to provide retirement income, or having too much money at risk, losing money due to market conditions. Again, this is money that is going to be used for income, and that is very important. However, I want to talk about some ways that you can lose money during retirement. It's nothing new, and I'm sure most of you are aware of these different situations that's going to cause you to run out of money or lose a lot of your retirement money that, again, is going to be used for income. I don't think it's stressed enough. Everything we read or hear talks about growing your money, investments. And yes, that is extremely important. But what about taxes, catastrophic medical expenses, inflation, bad investment planning, lawsuits, or passing away without a proper estate plan? These are protection aspects of retirement planning, protecting the money that's going to provide income. And believe me, no retiree wants to run out of money. No retiree ever wants to lose the money that they've accumulated over the years. And no retiree ever wants to be dependent on a family member or anyone else. But unfortunately, all of these things happen too often. Most retirees, as I mentioned, haven't been advised. They haven't learned how to set up a financial plan that's going to allow them to protect themselves from any of those potential risks that I mentioned. So many are not aware until they experience one of them. So I mentioned 6 different areas that have to be addressed in retirement planning. They're definitely going to cause problems for retirees, problems that can be reduced or eliminated through proper planning. In my opinion, these 6 dangers that are causing the most problems for retirees and creating the greatest chance for them to lose or run out of money. Again, they are taxes, catastrophic medical expenses, inflation, bad investment planning, lawsuits, passing away without a proper estate plan. So many retirees learn far too late about any one of these or all of these. It's my job to help you be aware of them and know the best way to deal with them, so there is as little of a chance as possible to prevent these risks affecting your retirement plan. I don't want any of my clients to come back and say, how could this happen to me? No surprises or devastating effects. That's going to take away from future income. First is taxes. And you would think it would go without saying that retirees would want to pay in as little tax as possible, that retirees would want to use every legal loophole available to them to reduce their taxes. But that's not the case. Most retirees that I see haven't done planning, are paying more in taxes than necessary. It needs to be addressed. Let's say you could save $200 a month in taxes by rearranging your financial affairs and invested that money at, let's say, 4% over a 10-year period. That would grow to a sum of over $25,000. And I'm talking about a guaranteed rate at 4%. Not to mention the potential for reducing Medicare cost, keeping your income under that threshold that's going to increase your Medicare cost, and how that applies to Social Security taxes on your Social Security income. That's a whole nother story that needs to be addressed and is so much a part of planning. The second protection category is catastrophic medical expenses. And the biggest one is taking care of your long-term care needs, since the odds are very high that at some point you'll either have to stay in a nursing home or require some form of long-term care. Your health insurance and Medicare, it's going to pick up most medical expenses while you're in the hospital, but they won't pick up the cost of long-term care. In fact, Medicare pays nothing for long-term care other than a limited amount for the first 100 days, and then only a small percentage of the people who apply will actually receive it. Approximately half of those of you listening to this show will spend some time in a nursing home. So we have to address a plan for some form of coverage to help cover the cost, or at least part of the cost of nursing home care. And I know pretty much every one of you knows someone who has been in a nursing home. The cost continues to rise, and it's not unusual today to see $7,000, $8,000 plus per month for the cost of a nursing home. Many retirees cannot address this problem because they don't have the extra funds or assets to be positioned to cover long-term care. And I understand that. But if there is any possible way to make some adjustments in your portfolio, assets, and savings to cover at least a portion of the cost of long-term care, you need to find out. Over the past years, there have been new planning strategies to where you can get some long-term care coverage without spending a fortune for the premium of a long-term care policy. And you need to think seriously about that. See if there is any way possible for you to help protect that money that's going to be used for income from the cost of long-term care. Because of these new innovative strategies, I have been able to help my clients protect their assets from long-term care cost more so in the last 8 to 10 years than ever before. And that's why I want you to find out if these strategies may work for you or not. And I'll be honest with you and let you know if it won't. 888-426-0177. 888-426-0177. It's so important. This is the big one, in my opinion, so much more so than the others that I have discussed, such as taxes, and that I'm going to discuss after the break. So stay tuned for the second part of the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman. I'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. For more information, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. More of the Safe Money and Retirement Show in a moment. Thanks for listening to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. At Heischman Financial Services, no one is excluded from receiving the help they need. Here's Jon Heischman.
We don't care if you have $50,000 saved for retirement or $5 million. We have no cutoff. As a matter of fact, personally, I feel those that have, let's say, under $250,000 or even under $150,000 in many ways need more planning advice than somebody that has considerable assets available to them at retirement. So whatever the case may be, we're willing to work with you and give your accounts the exact same attention as if you had $5 million.
Call Jon Heischman at Heischman Financial Services 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Or visit their website at HeischmanFS.com. Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman. To contact Jon, the number to call is 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. Once again, here's Jon Heischman.
Welcome back to the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I've been discussing ways to lose or run out of your retirement money because you haven't protected those retirement assets from taxes, medical expenses, inflation, bad investment planning, and I'm going to talk about lawsuits and passing away without having properly set up your estate. Now, lawsuits is a topic most retirees don't think about and can result a lot of a retiree's savings, if not all. Many retirees wonder, well, why would I be sued? I'm not in business anymore. I'm not in the workforce. Kids are grown and so on. But the answer is very simple. Actually, there are a lot of ways you can get sued, especially in today's world. Many of them, they're ridiculous and unfair, but nevertheless, it's a fact of life. Think about the different situations. It might be backing out of your driveway and accidentally running over a child on a bicycle. You invest money in one of your child's businesses, or if you're out in the world in any way today, you might be sued. So we must set up your assets properly. You need to know how your assets should be owned and how property is to be titled. Review your liability insurance. And do you have an umbrella policy that steps in and covers more liability than the liability that you have with your insurance? One wrong move, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, could result in a potential for a lawsuit. And this is a topic that will involve an attorney as far as setting up your estate plan, wills, trust, titling of property and assets. I am not an attorney, and those are things I can't do. But my job as a retirement planner is to make you aware of protecting your retirement money from unexpected risk. It's the protection part of your retirement plan. And these things I'm talking about today are potential things that could happen, that does happen to retirees. And it's one of those things where a retiree can say, I never even thought about that, didn't even consider it, and unfortunately was never brought to their attention. Too much focus on money, income, and growth of your assets. If you want to talk more on this subject, give me a call. Now, again, I can't assist you with this, but I can show you ways that your attorney or a referral from my attorney can help you. But in any event, believe me, it's definitely worth a discussion. 888-426-0177. Let me give you that number again, 888-426-0177. And by the way, I received another supply of the books that I sponsor, Top 10 IRA Mistakes. For those of you getting ready to retire or already retired and still have retirement accounts that are with a previous employer, you need to read this book, Top 10 IRA Mistakes. There's no cost. There's no obligation. All you have to do is call the number I give you, 888-426-0177. Another risk that needs to be addressed, and again, this falls into working with an attorney, and again, most retirees don't realize the importance, haven't thought about it, or the seriousness or importance of setting up an estate plan that's going to allow the heirs to receive the assets in the way the family wants them to be received. And this is one that will minimize taxes and expenses that's incurred upon demise, and to prevent the government from taking as much as half of the assets in the form of estate taxes. Now, grant you, most listeners, as well as retirees, are not going to have an estate tax problem, but some are. And too many think of estate planning as a plan only for the wealthy. In my opinion, all retirees should have a will and possibly a trust. And both should be updated if you do have a will and a trust. You have to make sure that it's going to reflect current circumstances and wishes, and it doesn't contain provisions if they become disabled or incapacitated, and make sure other documents are addressed. So think about it. Why go through the trouble of savings and accumulating assets for your estate if upon your death, the government and attorneys end up walking away with a large portion of that because it can be prevented? Why should a family wait months, or in some cases years, to receive assets that will be left after potential taxes, or having assets go to people that you never wanted the assets to go to? Planning is the answer. Planning is the key. In the cost to have your estate in order, up to date, is really a very small price to pay compared to what it does. Out of all the potential risk in retirement, estate planning is probably the most delayed or put off planning of all, and very well could be one of the most important. So please address that. Talk to your attorney, and if your attorney doesn't do estate planning, call me. I'll introduce you to the attorney that works with our firm. So now that I've reviewed these 6 dangers and discussed them briefly, I hope I'm setting the correct stage for you. I hope I'm sharing ideas to give you something to think about and the potential risk that all retirees face. I also hope I've raised some questions, because many of you either haven't thought about that type of planning, or you have and just haven't pursued looking into the ways to prevent risking your retirement money. Do you have the best chance to beat inflation? Is your portfolio safe and diversified? Are you paying the lowest amount of taxes that you legally can? Will your financial plan allow for inflation and help maintain the lifestyle without running out of money? And really, that's what it's all about. Prevent running out of money and guaranteeing that the income is going to continue. So I hope you're asking yourself some of these questions, and I have made you aware of these risks. Paying too much in taxes, incur catastrophic medical expenses, inflation, bad investments, lawsuits, and a poor or no estate plan. I can take care of a lot of these risks for you, but as mentioned earlier, some I can't. My objective is to bring them to your attention, make you think about them, and step forward to prevent them. It's a big part of retirement planning, and if it hasn't been addressed, I personally don't think your retirement plan is complete. These are all topics that you can spend a lot of time on, especially if you don't know what to do or who to call. So I welcome the opportunity to help you in any way I can. 888-426-0177. Once again, 888-426-0177. And don't forget to request the book, Top 10 IRA Mistakes. I'm at the end of my show for this morning. I want to thank you for joining me. And again, my goal is to help bring different situations, potential problems, and as much as I can about retirement planning to your attention. Be sure to tune in next week for the Safe Money and Retirement Show. I'm your host, Jon Heischman.
The Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr. To get in touch with Jon, call 1-888-426-0177. That's 1-888-426-0177. For more information about Heischman Financial Services, visit their website, HeischmanFS.com. That's HeischmanFS.com. Join us again next time for the Safe Money and Retirement Show with Jon Heischman Sr.